all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way know why they take it the wrong way. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need to know.
But as far as Meek Mills, Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these niggas, all you fake hard niggas, fuck you. Hold on. Okay. All you fake hard niggas, fuck you.
Do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time then.
In the world of flashing cameras, sold-out arenas, and private jets, few names have commanded as much influence or sparked as much controversy as Sean Diddy Combs. Known for his undeniable business acumen and chart-topping success, Diddy built a media empire that touched every corner of entertainment. But beneath the surface of glamour and power, a darker story has quietly brewed for years. It wasn't always center stage, but the warning signs were there. Subtle hints, cryptic messages, emotional outbursts that felt out of place until now. For years, celebrities close to Diddy tried to pull back the curtain. Some whispered their truths under the weight of fear, while others screamed into the void, only to be silenced, dismissed, or ignored. Now, with recent allegations shaking the foundations of his empire, those earlier voices seem more prophetic than ever. The puzzle pieces are falling into place. What once sounded like personal vendettas or industry gossip has taken on a haunting clarity. This is the story of the celebrities who tried to warn us, the insiders who saw too much, the artists who escaped, barely, and the truth they carried with them, hoping the world would one day listen. You'd better brace yourself for this, because we have a lot to unpack about the celebrities who have warned us about Diddy. Of course, we've got to start this list with the one and only Cassie Ventura, aka the woman who started it all. Cassie entered the music industry as a fresh face with a promising future. Under Diddy's guidance, she was not only groomed for stardom, but also drawn into a personal relationship that would define her public image. While the pair projected an image of mutual admiration, those close to the situation noticed troubling power dynamics. Years after their split, a bombshell was dropped, and the whole Hollywood was never the same again. Footage of Diddy abusing Cassie in a hotel hallway was posted online, and many were shocked. This CCTV video is from a hotel in California and took place back in 2016.
Appears to support some of the accusations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
We want to warn you that this video you're about to see is extremely graphic.
Cassie is being grabbed and thrown onto the floor by Diddy, who appears to be only wearing a towel. These sent shockwaves to the industry and ultimately started Diddy's downfall. Cassie then filed a civil lawsuit. The accusations were detailed and disturbing. She described a relationship fraught with emotional control, manipulation, and a pattern of abuse. While Diddy denied the claims and the lawsuit was settled swiftly, the ripple effects were undeniable. Diddy's legal counsel, Benjamin Brafman, fired back with a fiery statement, claiming his client strongly rejects what he called shocking and outrageous accusations. According to him, Ventura only filed the lawsuit after allegedly trying, and failing, to squeeze $30 million from Combs by threatening to spill explosive details about their past in a tell-all book. He dismissed the lawsuit as nothing more than a collection of wild, unfounded lies. Yes, they claimed Cassie was just after the money bag and that there is no way Diddy abused her, despite the CCTV footage spreading like wildfire. However, her case was a turning point. Suddenly, old videos and interviews were being revisited. The signs had been there all along. Subtle shifts in behavior, public discomfort, and silences that spoke louder than words. Cassie's courage to speak out sparked renewed interest in what other celebrities had tried to say for years. We've got Al B. Sure, for example. Al B, a respected singer and producer, had a deeply personal connection to both Diddy and Kim Porter. As the father of Kim's first child and someone who remained close to her, his reaction to her sudden death in 2018 sent shockwaves through his fan base. The official cause was listed as pneumonia, but Al B sure never seemed convinced.
You got me acting crazy in front of all these people.
Something is not right with this.
In the months and years following her death, he posted cryptic messages and emotional videos that hinted at a more sinister reality. His grief seemed layered with suspicion, and while he never named names directly, the implication was clear to those paying attention. He seemed to suggest that Kim had secrets she may have wanted to share, and now she never would. For some, his distress was interpreted as a conspiracy. For others, it was a red flag. As Diddy continued to live publicly as a doting father, Al B. Sure's warnings remained in the shadows, quietly building a narrative of mistrust. Now, we can't just move past Kim Porter. Again, there have been quite a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding her death. And just like Al B., many believed she did not just die because of pneumonia. Why? Well, rumors have it that Kim knows a lot about Diddy's shady business and is planning to release a tell-all book about it. However, that did not happen because before she could even publish the book, Diddy ended it. One person who is also quite sure that Diddy indeed killed Kim was Jaguar Wright.
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was going to meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you know...
And we all know that when it came to warning us, Jaquar was the #1 person in the line. In one of her videos, Jaquar implied that people close to Diddy just mysteriously died, and that is because they might be attempting to reveal the music mogul's real nature. And if you think about it, these deaths don't look like just a coincidence. There is a pattern, a common denominator. Or should I say, a common person involved? And yes, it's Puff. Though most of us might have thought that Jaquar was also spitting out random insults, looking at where Diddy is headed now, it's impossible to deny all her allegations. And yes, it completely makes sense now. Up next is Mark Curry. Mark Curry wasn't just a rapper, he was an insider. Signed to Bad Boy Records and heavily involved in the label's operations during its peak, Curry had first-hand experience with Diddy's management style. Eventually, he broke his silence in a memoir that peeled back the veneer of success. What he described was a culture of manipulation. Artists were kept dependent financially, emotionally, and professionally. He claimed contracts were confusing, royalties were unclear, and promises were often broken. The label thrived, but many of its artists faded into obscurity with little to show for their work. In his statement, Mark also mentioned how Diddy gave back his artist publishing rights in exchange for an NDA. Why? Well, Mark claimed that Diddy might have already had the idea he's going down and tried to cover his tracks. But guess what? That did not work. Curry's message wasn't flashy. It was steady, insistent, and deeply unsettling. His portrayal of Diddy wasn't of a tyrant, but of a puppeteer, pulling strings while keeping artists in check through charm, money, and fear.
Everybody the publishing back, and he called and he said, Mark, I just want you to be one of the first people to know I'm giving you publishing back. I was like, wow. I said, well, how about this? You giving me the publishing back? I was like, yeah, thanks. I said, now it's mine now, right? Yeah, now I want to sell it to you. I want to sell it to you. I said, don't even give it to me now. You just keep it and just give me some money.
While some dismissed Curry as bitter, others saw a whistleblower a year ahead of his time, and quite savage if you ask. You see, when Mark received his music rights back, he compared it to receiving a Nissan Sentra, which does not have value. So, what did he do? Mark allegedly got rid of all his rights after regaining the M, stating he does not need them anymore. Now let's move on to Katt Williams. In January 2024, comedy legend Katt Williams dropped jaws and turned heads during a now iconic appearance on the Club Shay Shay podcast with Shannon Sharpe. As the convo heated up and Diddy's name came up, Williams didn't hold back. With that signature mix of wit and warning, he practically shouted a PSA to the world: steer clear of Diddy's parties, because when Diddy wants to party, it's not your average Hollywood get-together.
Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need to know.
According to Katt, the answer should always be a hard no. But Williams didn't stop there. With eerie confidence, he predicted that Diddy's secrets were about to unravel, and 2024 would be the year he'd be catching hell. And sure enough, like a scene ripped straight from a scandalous script, just weeks later, a tidal wave of lawsuits came crashing down.
Big Dick Deviance is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
The allegations? Dark, disturbing, and shockingly detailed. Turns out, Katt's warning wasn't just comedy. It was prophecy. It was like shining light in the dark. And now, Katt might be sipping some tea somewhere, watching things unfold for Diddy. Next in the list is Aubrey O'Day. As a member of Danity Kane, formed on Diddy's reality show Making the Band, she witnessed firsthand how the music mogul shaped and shattered young talent. O'Day has repeatedly alleged emotional abuse, body shaming, and psychological manipulation. She described a workplace where fear was normal and speaking out was punished. According to her, Diddy didn't just manage artists, he controlled them. He allegedly demanded total loyalty while offering little protection or care in return. Back in 2022, Aubrey also mentioned that she was kicked out of Danity Kane for disturbing reason, and that is refusing to fulfill Diddy's non-music request.
What happened to Danity Kane? Why did the band break up?
Diddy fired me on the sixth, I think it was the 6th season. At the very end, he fired me.
Why?
Not for the reasons he said on TV.
What did he say on TV?
On TV, it was like, to sum it up quickly, it was like, you're wilding out. I was hanging out with Kim Kardashian. Mm-hmm. We were best friends. He thought I was like, he basically like told me I was going in a hoe direction and I needed to like cut ties with everybody.
You might already have the idea of what those requests might be. Despite her outspokenness, Aubrey was often painted as difficult or ungrateful. But now, with multiple voices echoing similar stories, her allegations no longer seem isolated. They appear instead as another puzzle piece in a much larger, much darker picture. In September 2024, a day after Diddy was arrested by federal prosecutors, Aubrey posted, "The purpose of justice is to provide an ending and allow us the space to create a new chapter. Women never get this. I feel validated. Today is a win for women all over the world, not just me. Things are finally changing." You might not be a stranger to this next person because aside from Jaguar, he's the one who's got some pretty juicy information to tell about Diddy. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has carried the weight of secrets for years. He's repeatedly spoken about the night Biggie Smalls was killed, one of the most tragic and mysterious events in hip-hop history. According to Gene, the story told to the public doesn't align with what really happened. He described confusion, missed cues, and questionable decisions that night. While he never directly accuses Diddy of foul play, his interviews painted a picture of chaos and a desire by some to cover tracks rather than seek justice.
They might got into a little spat, a little fight, or something went down, and Puff did that play fighting stuff that he always do, and that pillow fighting stuff, and probably smothered her. But I wouldn't say that on the air. I wouldn't let people know that he probably smothered her to death, and because she had a bad cold or she felt some kind of way.
More broadly, Deal has described a culture of deflection and avoidance within Diddy's circle. Mistakes were hidden, people were thrown under the bus, and at the center of it all, he suggested, was a man determined to protect his empire at any cost. One shocking thing Gene had spoken about Diddy is that he implying that Puff might actually truly be the one who killed Kim Porter. Like we've mentioned earlier, Kim's death is a mystery, and Gene is also one of those people questioning if she truly died because of an illness.
You gotta realize, man, Kim's death wasn't even investigated, bro. Her death wasn't even investigated. And it should have been a proper investigation so all the family members can feel like that there was no foul play in her death.
At one point in his interview, the former bodyguard even claimed that Diddy and Kim might have gotten into a fight, which ultimately led to Diddy killing his then lover.
They might got into a little spat, a little fight, something went down, and Puff did that play fighting stuff that he always do, and that pillow fighting stuff, and probably smothered her. But I wouldn't say that on the air.
We have another William in our list, and this time it's the queen of all media, Wendy Williams. Even though Diddy made a polished appearance on Wendy Williams' legendary talk show back in 2017, don't let that friendly sit-down fool you. Wendy's never been shy about calling him out. In fact, their history goes way back to the gritty days of 90s hip-hop radio in New York, and let's just say, it's been messy. Wendy's 2004 tell-all book spilled major tea, accusing Diddy of getting her fired from Hot 97 in 1998 after she dared to speculate about his personal life on air. According to Wendy, that move wasn't just professional sabotage, it was personal, and she claimed she'd never forget the nightmare he allegedly put her through. But the real jaw-dropper came in 2015 on her own talk show when she discussed Diddy's breakup with Cassie Ventura. While keeping things slick and daytime TV appropriate, Wendy still dropped a major hint about Diddy's alleged controlling ways. She painted a chilling picture of a man with too much power, suggesting he could literally charter a private jet, land it on a hotel rooftop, pay off staff, and stroll right into Cassie's room if he wanted to. It wasn't just gossip, it was a warning wrapped in glamour and shade. In January of this year, Wendy even made a statement saying that she will surely go to prison and that it's Diddy's time. Well, we couldn't agree any less. Mase was once one of Bad Boy's biggest stars. His smooth flow and commercial appeal helped define an era of hip-hop. But as his career progressed, Mase began speaking out, first about money, then about morality.
One of the reasons why we're all here today is because at some point, we believed in ourselves. We had to do certain things to get to a certain place. And I mean ethical things, not baby oil things, not crazy things. But we had to really believe in ourselves and do ethical things.
He accused Diddy of financially exploiting artists, particularly through unfair contracts and publishing rights. Mase's attempts to buy back his own publishing were reportedly blocked, leading him to question not only Diddy's business practices, but also the values he claimed to uphold. For years, Mase was framed as just another disgruntled artist. But as the legal cases against Diddy mounted, Mase's words gained new resonance. His story became a symbol of how power can be used to enrich a few while silencing many. And though Mase is staying quiet while Diddy's trial approaches, who knows what else he's got inside his pocket that might put his former boss inside the cell even further. We have another Diddy artist who came public and revealed Diddy's nasty secrets. Now, while Diddy's name has long been linked to controversy, it was music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones who truly sent shockwaves through the industry by being one of the first to hit the mogul with a jaw-dropping lawsuit that escalated everything. Lil Rod wasn't just some distant associate. He worked closely on Diddy's 2023 project, the Love album, Off the Grid. But according to Jones, what he endured behind the scenes had nothing to do with music and everything to do with disturbing power dynamics. Jones claimed his role as a producer quickly spiraled into something much darker. Allegedly, he was repeatedly groped by Combs and pushed into sexual scenarios he never agreed to, including working from the bathroom while Diddy showered just feet away. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. In one of the most unsettling claims, Jones alleged he woke up completely naked in bed with Diddy and 2 sex workers, after, he believes, being drugged. The lawsuit doesn't stop with Diddy either. It also names his son, Justin Dior Combs, and his chief of staff, Christina Karam. According to Jones, Karam played a key role in grooming and facilitating the behavior that led to this explosive legal drama. These weren't just rumors whispered at industry parties. This was a full-blown legal nightmare that pulled back the curtain on what some are calling the dark underbelly of Diddy's empire. The public's eyes were open to Diddy's behind-the-scenes activities, and you can say all of us found it extremely disturbing. Okay, this one might be quite indirect, but still, if you look closer, you might see the hidden message in what this celebrity said. Back when Usher was just a fresh-faced 13-year-old chasing his dreams in the music biz, he ended up spending an entire year living with none other than Puffy. Sounds like a golden opportunity, right? But years later, when Usher opened up about that experience in a 2016 sit-down with Howard Stern, the vibes took a sharp turn from glamorous to unsettling. Sure, Usher talked about it like it was wild and fun, but if you really listened, the undertones were hard to ignore. He hinted that what went on behind closed doors wasn't just industry mentoring. According to Usher, he witnessed things he couldn't even process at the time, saying there were very curious things taking place and that he didn't fully understand what he was even looking at.
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
And here's the kicker. Usher flat out said he wouldn't let his own kids go anywhere near Puffy camp, despite having lived through it himself. That's a bold statement coming from someone who lived in Diddy's inner circle. And although Usher did not directly warn the public, his statements were able to give the public a hint of what is truly happening to the infamous Puffy Flavor camp. Now, this next person might actually be Diddy's biggest hater. I mean, he's been coming for him for years, and now that Puff is actually heading to prison, you know that he is definitely jumping in happiness somewhere. I am talking about none other than 50 Cent. 50 Cent's and Diddy feud goes way back in the early 2000s. Back in 2006, 50 Cent went to the public and claimed that Puff knows who killed Notorious B.I.G. 50 also, not only once but multiple occasions, had insisted that Diddy was involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur. In 2018, 50 commented on Diddy's sexuality and called him fruity.
He says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says something fabulous and he goes, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party.
Another hilarious thing 50 revealed is the reason why he never goes to a Diddy party. Why? Because according to 50, Diddy will hug you from the front and the back at the same time. Well, whatever that means. Also, right after Cassie filed a lawsuit against Diddy, 50 Cent did not waste any time and dragged the music mogul even further. You can say that he is basically living to troll and expose Diddy. 50 also gave the whole Hollywood an I told you so moment after saying he's been warning people about Diddy for almost a decade. Individually, these stories might seem like isolated incidents, but when taken together, they reveal a pattern of control, manipulation, and alleged abuse that spans decades. Artists who once praised Diddy eventually turned on him. Employees who once protected him later spoke out. Romantic partners who once stood beside him came forward with disturbing revelations. The consistent thread? A man who allegedly used his power not just to build an empire, but to protect himself from scrutiny. These aren't the only names either. Over the years, there have been countless others who hinted at dark truths behind Diddy's charm. Some remained silent, fearing repercussions. Others never got the chance to speak at all. One of the most haunting aspects of this story isn't just what was said, it's how long it took for the world to listen. For decades, the entertainment industry has operated on loyalty, fear, and image. Speaking out against someone like Diddy meant risking everything: careers, reputations, and even personal safety. It's no surprise that many of these stories were buried, ignored, or spun to protect the powerful. But times are changing. With social media, independent platforms, and a growing demand for accountability, the old systems of silence are cracking. What once took years to expose can now go viral in hours. And in that environment, the voices of Cassie, Al B, Shore, Mark Curry, Aubrey O'Day, Gene Deal, Mace, and the others suddenly sound less like complaints and more like cries for help. As Diddy's empire faces increasing scrutiny, one thing is clear: the people around him were trying to warn us all along. Their stories were written in contracts, whispered in interviews, and buried in grief. They were there, in plain sight, but the world wasn't ready to see them. Now it is. Because sometimes the biggest red flags aren't in the headlines. They're in the footnotes, the forgotten artists, the discarded friends, the silenced partners. And when we finally connect the dots, we don't just see a story of one man's rise and fall. We see a system built to protect power at any cost. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below and make sure to stick around for more.